So, hi everybody, welcome to issue 7, which is the final issue of our actual play of Masks Titans. The heroes are assembled, with unfortunately the exception of Papillon at the moment, but the rest of them are assembled ready to do battle against the villainous come together of a number of the Titans and their own nemesis to try and take over the city. To remind people where we are, the heroes last time, Peregrine was captured and they were taken, went on board Helios's station around the sun. Helios's plans have started to come unpicked, especially now as off screen we will see Silver Sentinel and Helios joined in battle. Servo is missing, allegedly trapped deep in the code that is running the AI in the city, and that's been done by Snakebite and Sayamaki, who have been told that they can get them back out if only Glitch and Tank work with Hatjack. What could possibly go wrong? Popinjay has been boisted by Peregrine's support of his relationship with Papillon, and then, as I say, we are ready for action. The Titans are going after the Maestro, and the Vanguard are meeting up with with Emperor Norton, trying to take back the city from Madame Bancho, who has made up her personal fiefdom in A-Town, but is now expanding out into the west side of the city. Cool. Okay. So, as I say, we see those are almost our opening pages of setting the scene. And when we see the Vanguard, where are they? Have they made their way yet to A-Town, or are they still in Reclamation Point, which took a bit of a beating last time?
Are Dr. W's fix-it drones able to fix up Reclamation Point?
I think we're the city's in peril. I think superhero resources are supporting the city at the moment, so we are where we are.
Okay. I didn't know if sort of having our resources was important enough, so all right, sounds like not.
So we are separated though, right? It's Bobby and Popinjay and Tank and Glitch, right? We're two different teams at the moment.
A few of you expressed that you want scenes before you start diving straight into peril. So I think I'm assuming that we want to frame this at Reclamation Point before we dive into peril, even if you're going to go in separate directions.
Okay.
Yep.
So if I can just have a moment with Bobby, I'd like to talk to her. I don't really care if the other two are nearby. So do we just want to say we're all together and
let's do that. Unless you need to pull people aside, let's just sort of assume and frame that the scene is there in Reclamation Point and we're all together.
Okay. So, Bobby, I wanted to start out by saying that you made the right call when we were up on Helios Station, or not Helios Station, when we were down in the sub basement, to not come near me, because at that moment I was out of control. Uh, uh, I mutated, and that's not something that's happened to me well since puberty. and um, and it wasn't just my super strength that manifested. Um, the super strength wasn't even the most powerful. I think what did, my senses got extraordinarily overloaded, which led to that disoriented feeling. That kind of, I'm gonna keep control this time, is first of all what I'm trying to say. Uh, but the other thing is that I can feel through tons of rock and earth to an underground river beneath us. I can I can smell the difference between all of us. I think I could track us through the city. Um, from flying above, I'm positive I could see a mouse in an overgrown lot. Um, and I can hear people's heartbeats. And when Hack Jack said to Tank, I don't give a shit about anything but you, and I'm doing this to prove myself to you. At that moment, she believed 100% what she was saying. I'm positive.
Uh, that's a lot of information. Um, First of all, congratulations. That sounds pretty bomb. All those super senses. Like, I had no idea that in addition to super strength and terrifying rage, you could like hear people's heartbeats and sense truths and things. I mean, you're like more of a superhero every day, which is kind of terrifying, but mostly amazing. Uh, and look, okay, I have two things. I have two things to respond. Um, One is I believe you about Hackjack. Everything about the way your powers manifest seems to be true from what I've seen. And you're on my team, and that means I trust you. Uh, the question I have is if she's only doing what she's doing for Tank, then when she's done with it, whose side is she on? And will she betray the rest of us?
I
And
think
is she
that
trying to
I,
like sway Tank? You know, like if she's
I
only in it for one of us, but we're a team, what does that mean?
well, I can tell you um, that I think it might depend. The answer to that might depend on how we treat her. And she always shows up with a remark, a snide
Yeah, she
comment.
does.
It's just, and she's never going to be a team player. But I also think that when you like get her back, it works. I think it hurts her feelings. And maybe if we pulled it back a little bit, I'm not saying no, give some crack. Just, maybe not too hard. Maybe understand that maybe it's just her way, and everybody's got their own style, and hers is not being in a crew. But maybe we can work things out if our objectives happen to align in the future.
I mean, I'm not, like, if she's not a team player, she's not a team player, you know, lone wolf. I get it. I've seen movies with, like, you know, the guy's got to strike out on his own and prove something to himself or whatever. The Jim Cotta guy, like, he had to go on his own, and he was obviously the best. But even if I weren't leader of the team, this would be true. But especially because I am, like, I don't like people insulting the team. I don't like not standing up for my crew. Like, if she were just rude to me, fine. But she's rude to all of you. And like we're going in to save her, we're giving her the benefit of the doubt, we're doing all this stuff. And like well, you know, when you roll with Bobby B's got your back, man. Like, she's mean. She's not just rude, she's mean. I don't like it. I don't think it's cool if you can dish it out, but you can't take it. And I don't try to be even as mean as she is, but I mean, if it's important to you, then it's important to me, and I'll try to tone it back. But know that I'm doing it for you, and I in my heart, every time she puts one of those barbs at one of you guys, it hurts me not to defend you. Like, I have like a superpower now, but I'm not superpowered like the rest of you. What I am is the person who like believes in this team more than I have ever believed in anything in my whole life.
You beat the undefeated, right? Like,
That was pretty rad.
that was pretty rad. So you got your shit together. And look, I'm not saying don't keep your eye on her. I'm not saying turn your back and you know, uh, but um, accept the possibility that you know she's doing what she can. Uh, whether it would never be enough to be part of the team, maybe, but um, maybe we can have a working relationship.
Like I said,
Especially if you know.
if it's important to you, and it's clearly important to Tank in some ways, then it's important to me, and I will do my best. I can't promise I'm not ever gonna snap at her, but I will try. And I mean that. You know, as team leader, if I don't listen to what my team wants, I don't really belong in a leadership position. But I have something else I want to say to you. And it's something I've been meaning to say, and things have been so crazy, and Papillon was injured, and I like waltzed all those aliens out of our existence, which was pretty rad, but also kind of not something I thought I could do, and let alone the like unbeatable guy. I really, really believed, based on looking at you in that lab, that you could take the whole place down by yourself. There was no doubt in my mind that you were going to be okay. And if I had had any idea that they could catch you somehow, there's no way I would have left you behind. And I'm so sorry, man. Like, it's going to haunt me forever that we left you. You were so fierce. You were so badass. They could have made like a whole summer blockbuster about you. And I might have been like secretly scared to go, although I would have still gone because you got to keep your street cred up. But like, you were like a beast, you know, like the look in your eyes and the strength and the everything. I wasn't even worried. And when that fake Popinjay showed up at the complex, it felt like my heart sank into my stomach. And I wanted to like die. I let you down. We're a team. We don't leave anyone behind. We stick together. And I misjudged that situation, and you were traumatized because of it. And Papillon got hurt, and I'm the team leader, and it's my responsibility to make those choices. And I just want you to know, I'm not even asking for your forgiveness or how I can make it up to you, because I don't think I can. But I want you to know, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Always make the decision to save Papillon.
I should have saved both of you. That's my job. My job as team leader is to figure out how no one gets left behind.
At that moment, you were right. I would have tore my way right through that. I could have pulled that whole place down. But that guy he's smart. And I guess they call him, what is he, the Maestro? For a reason.
Yeah.
He sent a robot that looked like Jerry. What else would cut through that insane rage?
I'm not very smart.
And then
I think you all know it.
Sorry for the things that thing that looked like me said to you. But again,
It wasn't you.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize. I'm glad it said those things, because that's how I knew it wasn't you, because you are good-hearted. And that's how I figured it out so fast. The real you would never say those things. It's good that he said them so that I could catch on and not let any further infiltration happen. I just wish I'd seen it sooner. And
well, I hope Doc W knocks him in the chops for everything he said.
Dr. W he's got more things up his sleeve that should fit in a sleeve. I don't know how he manages it, but if anyone can do it, it's him. And I'm going to share a vulnerability here.
Oh, I think I already did. So I give you an influence over me.
I think I already have it. So do I change your labels?
Yeah.
Oh, you get to, I think you have to ask me if you're losing or gaining humanity, and then you can like clear a condition and stuff happens according, if I'm looking at the right, oh no, that's glitch. Shoot.
Yeah.
But you still can clear a condition. And then I guess I shift your labels.
You just need to play through the constraints of the question. You don't have to specifically ask it out, otherwise it becomes a bit too mechanical. So as long as
I just wanted to make sure I understood what was going on, because some of them seem to have sort of specific things they're going for in terms of like helping define the characters, it seems, and their relationships.
Yeah.
But
the thing with the influence, I thought that on the day that we had the episode where I got captured, I thought I removed of influence.
it's possible. I think I thought you gave it back, but I can take it away and then put it back. If that is what happened, I might have just missed it. That's fine with me.
Let's not worry too much, folks.
I guess we're
Okay.
that up. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So you can clear a condition, and I'd also like to share a vulnerability because this is actually pretty important to me. You mentioned how the Maestro is smart. He's smart. Dr. W is smart. You all are smart. I think it probably doesn't need to be said that I'm not very smart. And when Dr. W told me he had faith in me to be able to figure things out, I didn't know why he said it. I took on the leadership of the team because everyone believed, and because I care so much about the team. And if everyone thought that was best, then I wanted to do it. But maybe if I were smarter, I could have stopped what happened. And I don't know that I'm, you can care with all your heart, and I do, but maybe I'm not smart enough to be in charge. And it's okay. I know.
That is such a load of baloney, and you know it. You have risen to the occasion every time, and we have a city that needs looking after, and there's nobody better than you to take stand in front of the Vanguard and lead us in to save the people of the city.
That means a lot to me. Just promise me that if it looks like I'm leaving someone behind again and it's a mistake, don't let me do it. If someone's gonna get hurt because of some dumb misreading of a situation, if I just don't let me do it, okay? I couldn't stand if I messed up again. You could have been killed. Papillon could have been killed. It can't happen again.
Oh, I'm going to mess up again. We're all going to mess up again. It's going to happen over and over again. And you know what? We're going to get up and we're going to fix it. Just like this place is a mess, we're going to come back.
Everybody gets through it. All right. Then in that case, into the fray. Let's get our team and let's go show them that this city belongs to heroes and citizens and not villains.
Yeah. Into the fray.
Into the fray.
Okay, so we haven't heard much from Tank and Glitch at that point. You're also with Hatjack. Anything that you three want to do before Hatjack opens a portal to the digital world?
Oh, you're muted, Stephen.
Oh, I was going to say I'm actually good with moving forward into the action a little bit if you're okay with that.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I know that we had a conversation at the end of our last session. So yeah, I think I'm good moving forward.
Okay. Cool. So it's sort of like Hackjack is almost sort of cuts and punches through reality into the data streams that are flowing all the way around everything that we are doing. You can see streams of analytics and data reporting. The AI that's wired up this city to keep it smart is like a superhighway, Tron style, in front of you. And as she steps forward, you take on sort of a sort of almost, I say, a shift. And probably the reason she's taken, well, definitely the reason she's taking you two is probably only your two consciousness can shift and simulate and take on around you what is happening, which is your physical presences have almost been transferred, compressed, and you are now looking at a digital representation of almost like an alternate reality parallel to your own. and Hackjack feels looks like pretty at home here. So he sort of pushes both of you onto a passing stream of information, and you'll sort of surf, the three of you surfing along. Has anything? She's taken on almost an idealized form of herself here, avatars up. Has anything changed? How does Tank see themselves here? How do they really see themselves?
Glitch, you want to go first, or you're muted?
Mute myself. Yeah. I think that the Glitch I think has two things going through his mind. One is that that there's part of him that feels somewhat at home here because he has a digitized, kind of halfway digitized DNA that he normally has to kind of feels like on some level he has to kind of keep in check when he's, walking around in Union City. But, here, that kind of digital DNA side of him can have kind of greater expression. And so I think he's kind of that there's something that feels kind of bracing and exciting about this for Glitch. But then I think at the same time, I think he's always looking over at Hackjack, watching Hackjack, expecting Hackjack to, pull something, and he has Servo on his mind, right? I mean that this is all, and this is, while it might be bracing, this is a very complex data stream that we're walking through, and it's like, okay, trying to get a kind of bead on where exactly Servo is and how we're going to get Servo out of this is obviously going to be a challenging hurdle that we have to cross.
And how about Tank?
I think Tank looks like I think Tank watched the 1980s movie Willow when he was young, and his avatar looks almost exactly like the who was the bad guy in Willow, the one that had like the skull helmet, Cole or Core or something like that. Do y'all know who I'm talking about?
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm finding an image now. Yeah, I got one. Let's pop.
So if you haven't seen it, it's, think Death Knight, think like black medieval armor, white skull helmet.
Mm-hmm. So I think Hackjack will look at you and goes, cool dads. This is like a quantum understate to the city. They put in here with this AI is like totally cutting edge quantum computing. I'd never seen anything like it before I got onto one of the first ways underneath here. It's like a total digital twin moving and manipulating streams of information, people, places within the city. It's totally radical. I thought it was just like bad coding when I found some of the ways in and some of the ways to start manipulating it, but I think that's been built in for forever. Whatever's going on in here is super crazy, and it's been built like this for a reason. I think probably the only person I know who's smart enough to figure out what's going on with her is Servo, and I think she's trapped. But this stuff can actually test, rewrite, alter huge chunks of reality, man. That's why I think this is the way that we save you, Tank. We use it to unpick whatever has changed inside you and put you back to wherever you need to be.
And Tank is like looking at his arms and hands and whatnot and saying, and he says back, what happened to me? Why do we look like this?
It's how you see yourself in your mind's eye, how you're making sense of this reality. We're just sort of moving through streams of quantum information, yes, no, and maybes for every sort of step we take. It's imagine the reality you were in was like a simulation, and this is the way of changing parts of that simulation. That's how it looked at that point, like, when the Maestro was reading the Titans before Pop and J popped reality back. They make like micro changes to things every day of everyone's life, right? But a big change. So why do you see it like this? This is who you see yourself to be. It's not how I see you, and I doubt it's how Glitch sees you either. But
So remind me, David, what's Hackjack look like? How she see herself?
I will pop a graphic in to remind you. But Hackjack is sort of a stylized sort of cyberpunk hacker. Multicolored hair, cybernetics, but she sort of, I suppose it's an idealized version of self here. Her normal physical form looks slightly different, but so here she's sort of looking and she says, don't worry, you're going to be safe. And when you get used to this place, you'll be able to rethink yourself a little bit.
And Tank is still looking down at his arms and he says, I don't know, I think this got me pretty well.
She looks at Glitch, raising an eyebrow, waiting to see if Glitch intervenes to begin with.
I think what you see Glitch doing is, I think Glitch now is really looking like some type of crazy digitized cubist painting, and he's kind of enjoying, right, the kind of transformations that he's you see him in one frame and he looks like one thing, and then the next frame he kind of looks the same, but right, the cubist pieces have been kind of shifted and moved around a little bit. But Glitch turns to Tank and says, look, Tank, maybe your solution is in here, but I think what's important, Tank, is look, I mean, you really always are the way you perceive yourself to be. I mean, it's not about seeking something outside yourself. It's just, you've got it within you to determine what you are. And I mean, you don't need Hackjack. You don't need this world. I mean, you are where you are, and you can be what you want to be. I just get all concerned, Tank, that you've got this this kind of complex that you've got something wrong with you. You don't have anything wrong with you, Tank. And I think what we need right now is for you to, I mean, I think you're the point person on this whole mission, and we got to get Servo back, that's for sure. And if things work out between you and Hackjack, that's great. But whatever happens between you and Hackjack, really, the important thing is that you have faith in yourself, and I have faith in you. And I think we need to kind of kick some ass and get Servo out of here, and then we can kind of deal with I don't know, we can deal with whatever issues there may be remaining between us and Hackjack, and maybe we'll now see the real Hackjack turn up. We'll see who exactly Hackjack is. I mean, I think you have more faith in her than I do. If your faith is justified, then that's great. But I'll also just let you know I have your back, and my two top priorities are get Servo out of here and make you as a true part of our team. Make sure that you get out of here safely.
So Tank is still examining his hands, and he listens to this from Skippy, and then he reaches down and pulls out this demonic looking sword, and he says, "You're exactly right, Skippy, and every team needs an enforcer. And if this thing is going to kill me, then I'm going to kick some ass while it's doing it."
If you want to comfort and support off the back of that glitch, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
Especially as Tank is rolling with some conditions there.
Okay, and this is rolling with mundane, correct?
Yes.
Which is not necessarily. Let me see what my mundane is. Oh, it's only a -1. It's not always.
If you've got, don't forget, if you've got influence over Tank, you're rolling with a +1, so that would take it to a flat roll.
No, I don't have influence on it, so. But we'll see what happens. Over here.
Did he maybe share a vulnerability with you just here?
I didn't get that.
No, let's just keep it the comfort support and keep the pace going, guys.
So I rolled an 8, which becomes a 7.
That's still a hit. On a hit, and if they hear you, they mark potential clear condition or shift labels if they're going to open up to you.
Okay, so I definitely think Tank hurt him, so I'm going to clear. I think I'm going to clear hopeless. No, I'm going to clear guilty. Are you comfortable with me just basically saying, yeah, I'm going to be a badass now?
Yeah, that's fine. I think, Hatchat sort of shoots eyes like daggers at a glitch and sort of shakes their head, and you carry on down into the digital distance, and you're definitely approaching now what is near the tech town hub. And in this digital town, there's gleaming towers of information swirling around. It is like this place is absolutely bizarre. The amount of information and data that's flying around here. The W tower of the Titans is sort of stands maybe 3 or 4 times as high here than it would normally. But you're heading towards Rethink Inc., which equally extends about 4 or 5 times down in distance, down into the ground. And you zip down the wires, and you could sort of hear echoes of Servo's voice in this cyberscape glitch. How's that making you feel? She's in distress, or they're in distress.
Obviously that makes Glitch kind of concerned. I mean, you see that his kind of cubistic transformations, instead of kind of grooving on kind of being able to shift all of his appearance around, he kind of pauses when he picks up that voice. And what Glitch does is he really tries to he closes his eyes, his digital eyes, and really kind of focuses. You kind of actually see a digital third eye kind of open up on his forehead at this point, as he really tries to zero in on Servo, keep his emotions in check, and kind of just focus on, okay, I need to find out how to most effectively get to where Servo is underneath this kind of maze of digital systems flowing past him. I was wondering if I could, with this, use because I have the been reading the files move, if I could use that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. When you first encounter an important superpowered phenomenon, to try to find out an important detail about the situation of
Sure.
getting this.
So you're rolling with superior for that?
Yeah. And my superior is +2. So that's I got a 4 with +2. It would be 6.
Is Tank able to help you and spend a point from the team?
Yeah, and I think what that looks like is what does so Glitch is physically like opening a third eye to like examine this area.
Yeah, I think, the third eye, and you can probably see coming out of that third eye kind of little strands like shooting out around to kind of get a kind of sense of the area, and to try to kind of zero in on Servo and how best to approach getting to her.
Okay, so I think how this manifests in this like kind of cyberscape is that Tank looks over, this like skull head looks over, and then he like reaches into his belt, and he pulls out this like wrapped scroll, and this very tattered looking wrapped scroll, and he hands that over to Glitch and says, "Would this help?"
Yeah, and Glitch would probably take that, holds it up in front of his third eye, and you probably see like maybe some shifts of color that kind of indicate like some transformation in the way that his scanning is operating.
So that will take us to a 7, right? If we're spending a point for the team. So that will move us then for reading the files, will give you a +1 moving forward, isn't it? So, sorry, just lost the character sheet there. Bring that back up. So, been reading the files. On a hit the team, tell the team an important detail you've learned from your studies. So what have you learned, Glitch?
I think so what I've learned is I think what I've learned is that there is alien tech also floating around in here, and that is what is actually the kind of key to locating and kind of I can triangulate off of like where exactly the alien tech is located. I can start to kind of really zero in on exactly where Servo is in all this kind of miasma of data that's kind of floating around.
Cool. And what's different is, from the files that Snakebite had tried this before and had managed to sort of lock Servo for a time down, but Servo got out. What is underpinning the computational model here isn't just alien tech; it's multi-dimensional. So the reality here is being bolstered by something which is extremely alien, and that's why it's managed to track. And you can sort of look down into this sort of almost white cube holding the intelligence of Servo below. Okay, so let's shift the spotlight back to the other two at this point. And we see, well, where do we see you? Over, because you were heading to A-Town to sort of take or deal with the Madame Bancho problem?
That was my
Yeah.
So,
Although I think
Yeah.
I think we were, in my mind, going to stay together, which it's fine that we're not. I'm
What
just
do you
not
mean?
sure how.
I think at the end of last session, Pop and J and Doc W had said to well, actually, I think it was Pop and J. I mean, not Pop and J. Peregrine said that the three of them were going to go help Servo. You
Okay.
No, they were going after Maestro. They asked you to take care of A-Town. They were going after Maestro,
Okay.
and the rest of you trying to get Servo out.
Okay. Sorry, I was a little bit tired by the end of last session. I think I just confused it. So yeah, we're going to A-Town. Would now be a good time for me to, if we're arriving, be mindful of my surroundings?
Yeah, if that's moved, I sort of remember it does, yes.
I don't know if we're about to enter into a fight, but I assume we are. So.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, roll plus superior. That is 2. Right, because I locked it there. So that's a 14.
Okay.
Amazingly enough. So let's see. That means I get to ask like the regular questions I would, plus an extra one, right?
So let me paint the scene, and then that might help you to answer some questions more effectively. Is effectively A-Town is being is surrounded. There are, as we said, about 50 to 70 superpowered thugs in Bancho's gang, and they have the area under control. They are now expressing out of A-Town up into the west side, but the scene at the center of A-Town is that there is a hologrammatic sort of floating image of Madame Bancho standing across the top of the city, and she points out and says, "This town belongs to me, all about Bancho," and you can see that sort of is I think a corporate-y looking office block, which has been windows have been broken, banners have been hung out the windows. It has been turned into at least the temporary headquarters of Bancho's army.
Okay. Can I ask questions that I would just ordinarily ask before I ask my specific assess the one situation ones? So the first one is like you said it's like a holographic image of Madame Bancho.
Yeah.
Is that something that's obvious to us?
Yeah. It's about 30 meters tall, so yeah.
Oh right. Okay. So right, 30 meters, that's a lot of feet. Or meters even. Okay. So okay. And then all of these goons that are in her service, you said they sort of have taken over here, but they're like moving outwards.
Yeah, they've already taken A Town, and now they're moving across into some of the next neighborhoods.
Okay, so they're not like actively right in front of us at this point because they have dispersed to take over other neighborhoods.
Yeah, because I think fighting through 70 minions is going to get really dull pretty quickly. You can fight as many as you want, right? I think I'm very happy that mooks can be dealt with and only named characters matter.
Okay, I just wanted to check to be sure before I started asking questions that would have been obvious. Okay, so assess the situation. I can ask 2 plus my extra 1, and I can take 1 while I can the answers. Who here is most vulnerable to me?
I think when you check closer, and I think we'll say that you've closed into the tower that Bancho is using her headquarters. Bancho is within, and she has 3 of her top lieutenants close by. She has young Golden Fist that you battled way back in episode 1. Severin the Shadow Stalker, who is Papillon's nemesis, and Mini Masterbot is also present, with little robots cluttering all around this building. Mini Masterbot is a human brain in a jar, but a robot body as well, right? So we have that as well, and then we have on a throne, which has sort of been rapidly put together out of car parts. We have Bancho sitting, sort of puffing away on a big cigar, whilst a battered but unbowed Emperor Norton is currently in battle with Mini Masterbot.
That is a lot of bad guys. Did you say which one is most vulnerable to me? Because I think that's what I asked.
Oh, the most vulnerable to you is probably Severin. Severin can turn anything into a weapon and is extremely dangerous, but Bobby's unpredictability might well act as a countermeasure to Severin's tactics.
Okay. What here is the biggest threat? Because there are certainly a lot of threats. So maybe we should know which one is
Bancho from her has got what looks to be like a sort of it looks like a floating orb of computer information floating in front of her. She's got screens popping in and out of it like holograms, and she's using that to move her people around. So she could actually use that. She could recall the rest of the villainous army back, and then you'd have to fight 70 supervillains and not just 4.
If only we had Glitch and Tank to mess with the technology. Okay, and then my last question. Does it have to be off the list, or do I just get to ask one?
You can ask me a suitable question. If I think it's outside the bounds of the move, I'll tell you. But otherwise, they're guidelines.
Okay. Try to think, because so many of the teammates aren't here, and I'm trying to like Pop and Jay and Mike gets like every supervillain. It feels like, what is? Yeah, we're gonna kick ass. It's gonna be rad. I think the Gymkhana has to come back out. What is the best way for Pop and Jay and I to combine our powers and work together without the rest of the team?
Say that again. Sorry.
What's the best way for Pop and Jay and Bobby B to combine their powers to work together without the rest of the team in this very dangerous seeming situation?
There's no mechanical way for me to answer that. Sorry, I can't. I can't answer that question. I don't know how to support you.
That's fine. I didn't know if there were like some people more vulnerable to him and some more vulnerable to me or something that we could just sort of work it out. Okay.
Right. So if you're asking who's most vulnerable to Popinjay, then I can probably answer that, which is probably
Okay.
then he has fought Mini Masterbot previously. Golden Fist powers seem to come predominantly from the alien tech that they're gifted. So if that could be taken away, you should be okay. But so they would be more vulnerable in that respect.
Okay. I noticed in the chat there's a question: who is engaged in battle with Mini Masterbot currently?
Emperor Norton, which
Emperor
is
Norton.
the Titan, who is
Yeah. Okay. Popinjay, this is like our moment. The epic climax. All the
Wings
swelling music,
open up.
the drums. We're gonna go in and phase and super strength and Gymkata and like rage monster our way through this thing, and we're taking back A-Town. I've got Severine. I think I gotta get her out of the way. She's dangerous as hell and distractingly pretty. I don't like it. Bad combination. You're good with Mini Masterbot and Golden Fist,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Like you got
especially
them.
since- yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Norton can hold off Mini Masterbot for me to take out Golden Fist. And once Golden Fist is down, then I'll hit Mini Masterbot from behind, and then we'll have Norton on our team, and we'll be able to, when you've taken out Severine, the three of us will go and just squash
Bancho it up.
Bancho it up.
You're smart. I love it. Let's do this thing.
Okay. I think as we turn the page on that, we'll take a 5 or 7 minute break. Then just come back to us after the hour, and then we'll cut those scenes back and forward as we do battle. So I'll see you back, let's say 5 past the hour now, because it's coming close to it.
And this has been great so far, by the way.
So Popinjay, Bobby, you've got the you know where they are. You've assessed the situation. What's the plan of attack? How do you go in to deal with Pancho and the lieutenants?
I'm gonna leave how Popinjay goes in up to him. Like we've sort of discussed our plan of who's going for who.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've got that like I trust you, you trust me, let's do this going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm gonna hesitate like a few seconds before going in to see if Popinjay like transforms or anything, because he said like it happened sort of without warning and whatnot, and I want to make sure that if he like starts to mutate and like needs backup while it's going on, that I'm paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
But if once he starts engaging, then I'm gonna head in like all acrobatically Gymkata style.
Okay, so are you directly engaging a threat with Severine then? Or are
I
you
will
waiting?
be. I was gonna wait for Popinjay to start it.
Okay, so Popinjay?
Yeah, I'm gonna directly engage Golden Fist, but I'm pulling my punches because in my mind he's just a regular human with some enhanced offense. So I don't want to like knock his head off his shoulders for real, but take him out of the fight. So I'm gonna use my legacy ability. That's pull your punches one. I don't know what it's called. I can't find it there. But it lets me roll with
Fight the good fight. Yeah, roll with Savior.
Good fight. Roll with Savior. And I just, as soon as Bobby said go, Popinjay spread his wings, left off the skyscraper we were talking on, or the whatever the building was, and flew straight at my target, and um, I'm gonna blast him with my energy blast, and
Sure.
then close for a hand-to-hand fight.
So that sounds to me like you're directly engaging a threat.
And do I have anything to roll with other than my?
You've got +1 forward from the assessor situation,
Okay, let's do that.
specifically against, yeah, Golden Fist or Mini Masterbot.
Well, luckily I have that because it pushed me to a middling success. I have a 7 total.
Okie dokie. So if you're directly engaging a threat and you hit a 7 to 9, you get to choose one. You inflict a condition on them, but what? Are you resisting or avoiding their blows, taking something from them, creating an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition?
Well, I can't oppress.
No, you can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to create. This is just my own take. Feel free to
Right.
ignore, but create an opportunity since I'm going elsewhere.
Yeah, I want to inflict damage.
Sure. So you're inflicting damage, but what would you either resist or avoid their blows, or you're trying to take something from them?
I'll resist and avoid their blows with my invulnerability.
Okay.
And also, I'm hitting them at a distance at this attack anyway.
Sure. As you come in, you hit them with the energy blast. It takes them by a bit off guard, sending them sprawling. But they sort of come back up on their fists and go, I'm going to pluck you like a chicken, and runs towards you. Bobby?
So yeah, seeing that there has not been like some transformation, I'm gonna run past Pop and Jay, just yelling, "You got this, bro!" And then start doing like front handsprings to launch into Gymkata to like try to just deal with the goons that are between me and Severine, and then I'm gonna like directly engage Severine, although I would like to do it by unleashing my powers if that's possible.
Sure. Why unleash your powers? What are you trying to achieve?
I would like to put her where I forget the name of the other bad guy was, and they can battle it out in that realm.
So you want to try and push her through into the digital world, right? Sorry, not digital world. Push her out of this reality is what you're trying to achieve, yeah?
Yeah, based on the description, unless she's completely gone, she's going to kill one of us with a hairpin.
Cool, okay. So you're going to try and push her out of this reality. You can do that with your unleash your powers, reminding yourself that you answered a question, so you can take one forward on this roll.
Okay, please be as kind as you were last time, dice. Yeah, actually, that's a 9 on the dice, and I have a freak of 1, so that makes it a 10 with the +1 forward is 11. So I think I'm doing all these ridiculous Gymkata moves, and I land like right in front of her, from sort of farther away than you'd expect. Like I used something in the environment that was a little bit, not like a trampoline, but like had a little spring to it to like sort of land right in front of her and say like, Severine, you want to dance? Put an arm, put a hand, do like a single spin, and she's out.
Okay, so you phase her out of this existence. Grand. Okay, so as I say, she was that's no problem. That's exactly what happened. This dangerous villain that we foreshadowed for 7 sessions is phased out of reality.
That's true. To be fair, I did not expect that role to succeed.
No, it doesn't matter. That's the dice. It's like Bobby Bay has just gone bang and done something, and she is out of the way, which means that even more so, young Golden Fist is well angry. And you can see the golden gloves that he's got. They start glowing and then sort of surrounding themselves with arcane symbols, crackling with energy. And as he slams his fists together, and smiles at the both of you and goes, "I got an upgrade, baby." But let's switch back to the digital world and let's see how the others are doing for a moment. So yeah, it's a white grid of strange burning energy that is surrounding the digital form of Servo, which is primarily a data stream. There's very little that you would describe as human here. And looking down on it, trying to sort of manipulate the energy around them, you see the digital form of brain keeps going on my blinking name for this one. Sorry, what's the name? Of Snakebite. So Snakebite is, as I say, quite a. Here, there's almost none of the human form left. They're much more machine than man, and the machine is sort of bit by bit unpicking the data core of Servo. And you sort of hear him cackling, saying, look at it this way. What's left of your pitiful excuse for an artificial Turing machine mind will augment our control of this city and this reality. You are serving the greater good, Titan. Yo, superheroes, what are you doing?
Yes, I think Glitch turns to Hatjack and Tank and says, "Look, if I can occupy Snakebite, do you think you can manage to untangle Servo and get your way out of here?"
Tell you what, why don't I occupy Snakebite? And Tank, as he's saying that, is already charging forward, and that like demon sword in his hand just grows and is engulfed in like this blue digital flame. And he's going to just go all out with an overhead swing and try to slam it into the back of Snakebite.
Right, sorry, I pulled my cable off my headphones then, so I lost your last couple of sentences. Sorry, Stephen. You were going to engage and do what?
Yeah, so basically he's going all out and just launching himself in this demon sword that's growing and becoming engulfed in blue flames, and he's going to launch himself all out at the back of Snakebite.
So what move are you trying to invoke
I'm going to
here?
overwhelm. Can I overwhelm a vulnerable foe?
Is that what move is that you're trying?
That's an adult move.
Have you taken that?
Yeah, because I've got bolster.
Oh, right, of course, because yes, I understand now, yes. Overwhelm a vulnerable foe, yes, you can, because you can do that with one of your Doom Trap moves, yes.
Okay, so
rolling with danger.
This danger is ridiculously high. I got an 8.
So on a 7 to 9, choose 2 from the overwhelm a vulnerable foe list.
So I'm gonna hurt my foe more than I intended and also cause serious collateral damage.
Okay, so Describe to me how you hurt the foe more than you intended.
So I think in the digital representation, this massive sword just basically Voltrons and slices straight through the representation of Snakebite. And basically he just pixelates in both directions as it goes through.
Okay. So they're in a bad way. The collateral damage as this blow hits, you can see parts of Carlos dissipating as well, and there's less Carlos and more tank left.
Okay, so yeah, I think Carlos kind of also pixelates away.
And I think you see this glitch, as you can sort of see, and so does Hatjack, and Hatjack sort of screams and says, "If we don't stop him, we'll lose him."
So I think glitch. Now, I mean, when Hackjack said that, if we don't stop him, meaning stop him from pixelating, is that the gist?
If you do, you want to pierce a mask or assess the situation?
Yeah, I think assess the situation sounds right. To kind of, and I mean, really looking at what exactly. I'm not really worried about what has happened to Snakebite, but like what is happening to Carlos tank right now, and trying to kind of get a read on you know what exactly that is about and what kind of danger that may be posing to him. And so I roll on superior, which is I can know myself. So +2. So I rolled an 11, which becomes a 13.
Cool. So let me paint a little bit more description before you answer the question. Is what I think your spot is the part of tank that is tank, and the part of Carlos that is Carlos are in a struggle, and the use of the powers here in such a violent and destructive way has damaged some of what is left of Carlos, and you can literally see Carlos bits of, maybe it's a tattoo or a a bracelet or a face or something, but it is part of Carlos drifting away into the digital ether and pixelating as that has happened.
Okay.
The machine is taking over.
So I get 2 questions, right? Okay. So I guess my first question is, what here can I use to bring back Carlos and kind of make Carlos tank whole again?
If anyone knows what it's like to not have their own body, their own sense of self, it's probably you, Glitch. So you've got to reach through and force or support Carlos into reasserting control over the machine.
Okay. And the other question, I guess maybe how could we best end this quickly?
The other option is if you can get Servo out, her mastery over the digital landscape is higher than yours. It's greater than yours, so she may be able to reassert the image of Carlos. Alternatively, you could just drop back out into the real world and leave Servo behind. I'm going to give you a moment to think about that and go back to the other team, where Golden Fist smashed his gloves together and then unleashed a move onto Bobby B. So you're going to take a powerful blow, Bobby.
I think you're muted, Pearl.
I have one condition, and it looked like it was going to be all low, and then it changed to a 6, so that's actually a 9.
Okay.
Not great.
So are you going to lash out to mark 2 conditions, or give your opponent an opportunity?
I'm going to give my opportunity, give the opposition an opportunity because I trust Pop and Jay to have my back.
Okay. The mystical symbols on the gauntlets flare. There is a moment as this energy beam hits Bobby B, and there is a flash of light. And what you're looking at now, Pop and Jay, is a cute white rabbit with pink eyes and a little nose, where Bobby B was.
Okay.
So Golden Fist goes, "Sweet, it works, rabbit stew," and then comes swinging out towards you. But you've got a moment to act.
Okay. Is it too outrageous to, in a directly engaging a threat, to try to take somebody's consciousness from them? Like
You can't take someone's consciousness from them. That's not that. You've got to take conditions to let someone out. But you could take their gauntlets off them and depower them, right? So, but you can't. Yeah.
Did
So
that before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he might not be ready for me to have super strength and be able to
Sure.
to just grab him like in a those hand to hand finger grip each other's hands, and I'm just gonna bend him back and crush those gauntlets off his hands.
So that's a directly engaged threat, right? Because if you are successful, you can take something from them.
But again, I'm not trying to like cripple him.
No, I understand. You're trying to break the gauntlets. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. So that didn't work. I got a 5. At least I mark potential.
You can, and as you tried to, you crush them, and then you crush them, and he looks down, and then the sort of reality flickers for a second, and you can hear as if someone was tapping a conductor stick, and all of a sudden you're on your back, and he's above you, and the gauntlets are still fine. So you need to mark a condition.
Okay. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
He has +1 forward to act on my thing, which puts him at a 6, right? Can I use team
if you can use your great and powerful bunny powers to add 1 to this scene, I'll let you turn this into a 7.
The great thing about bunnies is that everyone thinks they don't make any noise, but it turns out that when they're really threatened, they make a horrifying shriek sound. And it would distract the hell out of me if I didn't hear it coming. And so I like to think that it's at least possible that as Papa J is going to do this, I just let out this like scream. Like rabbit screams don't even sound like they could come from rabbits. I don't know if you've ever heard them. It's weird.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. That's enough. That turns it into 7 if you want it to be. So, Poppin' J.
Sure.
It's about as much as I can do as a rabbit, so I figure I might as well lend a hand.
That's great.
Hey, Monty Python taught us that that's not the case. We can still have Jim Carter dancing rabbits. This is all fine. So yeah, that puts you into the 7 to 9. So we take a pause and step back on that scene, and
So
you
does
can.
that mean that I do take the gauntlet?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So
and I'll mark angry.
yeah, I'm going to add that on top of, rather than reversing the scene, it's almost as if someone had paused and rewound and reset the scene 3 times, as if reality is changing around you. But the rabbit screech is enough just to shift the balance of probabilities, and you've crunched that. Mark your potential back down 1 just to
I did.
remind you. Great. Okay, cool. So yeah, you crushed the gauntlets, and they sort of shudder in Golden Fist's hand, and he looks and he's about to say something, and then there's a pop, and there's another white rabbit in the room wearing the remnants of the gauntlets. At which point Mini Masterbot cackles and says, "I knew it would come to you, and this time I shall defeat you utterly, you prancing popinjay." And sort of its chest cavity opens and a large energy weapon pops out. Bancho at this point is tapping her fingers and making a decision of whether or not to get up. And we'll cut back to the digital world. What are you doing, Glitch, in result to the move that you pulled?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, Glitch quickly tells Hatjack, for all this to work, you need to get Servo released. But then Glitch starts to decompose cubistically, right? You see his third eye kind of pop out of his head, and all these other kind of cubist parts of Glitch kind of go. And what Glitch is going to try to do, kind of acting on the insight that he got, is he's going to try to kind of grab the various pixelated pieces of Carlos and start gathering them together and kind of bringing them back into some type of form that he can then kind of fuse back together with Tank once again. And I'm wondering if this is an unleash your powers type move.
Yeah, I think so. To reassert the form, I think is just that.
Okay.
So Glitch is trying, just so I'm clear, Glitch is trying to repair Tank.
Yeah, and especially by because what I had learned is that right those parts of Carlos in particular are in danger of kind of getting kind of separated out, possibly permanently.
Okay. So I think, yeah, Carlos is pixelating away, and as Glitch is trying to repair him, what's left of Glitch? Is there any physical form to him, or is he all abstract now?
Well, I think there are various pieces. I mean, he's not like completely pixelated in the sense that, right, it's just like little like squares, but I mean, you see like the third eye here, and you see a finger of Glitch there, and an elbow over there, right? I mean, it's all these kind of cubist parts that have become kind of separated.
Okay. Tank reaches out and he grabs the nearest cube, and bear in mind that he's got this skull helmet on over his face, but he says, "Skippy, I appreciate it, man, but I've got someplace else to be." And he like takes a quick step back and starts to phase away, and then all of a sudden he comes back together really quickly, and he dashes over and grabs Hackjack by the back of the neck and kisses her. And then he backs away and phases out. And Tank is going to use his new Doom Sign portal to phase into the physical fight. You're muted, David.
Okay, so we will cut to that. I think if Polar Agency takes precedence there, so you are left with Hatchak and Servo, and sort of Hatchak says that stubborn idiot, he's going to lose control. He's pushing himself too hard. That thing will consume him. There will be nothing of him left. We've got to get hold of the alien super energy that Maestro is using to decouple Tank from the alien suit. That's the only way we're going to be able to save him, Glitch. And she says, "Can you deal with the Servo? Because I'm going to deal with this."
Yeah, I mean, I think with Tank kind of phased out. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the obvious choice, and it says, okay, I'm hopefully this will not take me long. So Hackjack, where exactly are you going?
She she has a lollipop in her mouth, and she takes it out, and there's sort of like bits of data on it. They're floating away, and she sort of jabs it into your mouth, and all of a sudden you can sort of see a map of the AI under tunnels, and it says, "I'm going to the Maestro. Need to pull the best thief job ever, steal his wand. See you later, guys." And she's gone.
Glitch is thinking that he at some point may be pursuing her, but I think right now he will go down to that. You said it was like a white grid that was where Servo was located right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess Glitch is going to kind of approach that grid and try to is the grid, is it like a cage?
Yeah, it's like a cage, a square cage of white flaming energy that wraps around them, and Servo's inside. And she sort of looks up and at you and said, "Good to see you. I don't know what this stuff is. It's multi-dimensional. It's not from around here, and I can't reshape reality."
Glitch looks at the grid cage, and I think what he's gonna do is his kind of parts kind of come back together, and you do see two hands form in front of him, and he's going to kind of grab two of the strands of this kind of grid and proceed to kind of try to pull it apart, and says, okay, Servo, I'm going to make an opening. You need to try to kind of come out of this when I get this pried open for you. And so I'm going to try to use, my quote unquote, I guess we say strength, but in a kind of loose kind of form, because this is all this digital environment, but is going to try to create
Yeah.
this opening for Servo to kind of get out of
But
the.
what we know is that Glitch is unstoppable. So
Yes.
this would be an appropriate move, unless you want to use Unleash Your Powers. The choice would be yours, but it's certainly...
Unstoppable seems to smash my way through so that Servo has a way to kind of escape. Right. And this is with danger, which I think is +2, so that would be an 8.
So on Stop Order 79, it's successful, but you mark a condition. Leave something behind. 79, yeah, choose one. Either mark a condition, leave something behind, or take something with you. And take something with you is not a good thing that you take with you, by the way. Like, oh, I've taken extra ammo. No, it's a bad thing. Like an alien parasite in your brain.
Yeah, let's do that. I will take something with me.
Okay. The cage destabilizes as you're pulling it, and the fire, an electric fire around it breaks down, and a part of it jabs hard into your hand as you pull it away, and you can see the white electric energy dissipate into you. And the word Empyrean and the Empyrean flame bounces into your brain. But Servo is free. She looks up and starts coming back together from a disassociated form into her their idealized image of themselves, and she wraps her arms around you and says, "Good job, superhero."
Servo, I'm well. I know that we don't get emotional with each other very much, but I was really scared out of my skin that something was going to happen to you that we would never get you back. Look, there's a lot. I don't know what if you know everything that's going on right now, but there is. If you think this is a whirlwind here around us, it's even bigger than what you could imagine. Look, we got part of our team is back in Union City. The Titans are trying to take down the Maestro, and Hackjack is kind of off trying to pull. Hackjack said she was going to go where? She was going to
steal the Maestro's wand.
Yeah, I mean, Hackjack is now thinking she's going to go off and pull off the heist of the century by stealing the Maestro's wand.
Says, from what I can see, the Titans are separated in trouble. You need to get back to your team. I'm going to tear down this artifice. She points at the AI digital twin of the city and see if I can give you the advantage you need.
Okay, and look, before I go, I'm really worried about my friend Tank. Right before I pulled you out, part of him had gotten pixelated and separated. If while you're doing this, you can figure out where those parts of my friend Carlos Tank are and kind of coalesce them so that he can be made whole again, that would be really important to me.
I'll do what I can. Go.
Okay.
Let's cut to the other scene at this point where we see Tank stepping out of reality, from one reality to another. And what are you doing, Tank? There's Mini Masterbot and Bancho in the room. Who does Tank lay the smackdown on?
Oh, it's got to be Bancho. And I think can I dictate this a little bit?
Yeah. You just set the scene for me a little bit.
Yeah. So what's Bancho doing?
Bancho's sitting in a throne with this sort of glowing computer ball and flipping screens. And I think she sort of looked at it and says, I think this is enough. And she's reaching towards the alarm button on this floating holographic computer screen.
Okay. So there's this frame where, looking over her shoulder, she's reaching out toward that. And then in the next frame, there's this kind of armored hand that just taps her on the shoulder. And then in the next frame, you see her with the throne behind her, and then behind her is Tank with like every one of his missile launchers just out and pointed straight at her. And so again, he's going to overwhelm a vulnerable foe and launch everything he's got.
Are you unleashing something like a moment of truth, or are you just going big guns?
Big guns. He hasn't unlocked his moment of truth yet.
Cool. So what are you? So you're directly engaging a threat, I think, at this point, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to use the adult move.
So wield your powers, yeah.
Overwhelm a vulnerable foe.
Sure. Okay.
And he got a 10.
So at a 10, you choose one from the list. You are successful. The fight is over. They're done. But which do you take?
I'm going to cause serious collateral damage again. And if I can dictate it, I think the next frame is just a splash page. And you see like kind of a, small mushroom cloud coming up in this, scene of the city.
Cool. So I think we do see that. We see the building starting to creak unexpectedly as it's starting to, say windows have probably gone as the building is impacted with the hit of this. Mini Masterbot turns and looks at this, and you can see the cannon go in and a jetpack pop out the back, and they go, I'm not dealing with this, and makes a move out of the confusion to escape. Leaving the three of you there. So Tank has just done. A lot of damage. Bancho's computer is, I think it's more Bancho's. Bancho's computer is sort of there, still clattering away. She's just been hit square in the jaw, taken out, and a lot of structural damage has happened to the building. Pop and Jay, Bobby, how are you reacting?
Marco, we can't hear you. I have a quick pause just to remind myself of exactly who's here with us, if that's possible. We've got Golden Fist, who has turned us into rabbits, but it's
also a rabbit. You've got
is also a rabbit with the gauntlets on, or is Papa Jai wearing
the gauntlets were damaged. So you have two rabbits, one black, one white. The white one is Bobby B. The black one is Golden Fist.
Okay.
You have the right, and the only one that's left then is just the rest of the team. Bancho, who is out, is not clearly unconscious by a single blow.
Okay, I thought Papa J was a bunny, so this changes my.
No, Papa J's not a bunny. But how does the Tank look any different? Can we assess, sort of give a team a repitch of what Tank looks like? Do they look the same?
Tank looks a bit more insectile than he did before. Like he does have launchers, basically one over each shoulder and like one around each leg, and all of them are empty and fuming smoke and everything. But I think there are several sensors as well, kind of over the top of his suit, and they instantly sort of lock on to each of you as you're walking up or as you're entering the scene.
I don't know that I would be approaching you at this point. I think what I'm gonna do is kneel down by the bunny, and uh, place my hands on it. Um, I don't know. I What's going through my head is to reverse this spell uh, by using my super senses to feel the energy fields around the bunny, and use all of my super senses. So I don't know if you want me to just unleash my powers.
Yeah, that would be the appropriate one to reshape your environment.
So if Tank wants to give me a hand, if the dice wind up in that situation, that would be good. But and I have no plus ones, right? For going forward.
You don't have any plus ones, and this is your normal
This
roll
is
for any.
which is just a 0, so it's whatever the dice say. Which is a 7, so team wouldn't help anyway.
On a hit, you do it. You have the marker condition, or I'm going to tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary.
I will mark a condition, but I want to save Bobby B.
Then you mark a condition, because otherwise I was going to have fun turning Bobby B into a rabbit as my whim took me. Bang, Bobby! There is a button on the gauntlets that has had written around it with Sharpies, "De-Bunnyizer," and you hit the De-Bunnyizer button, and there is a bang, and Bobby B is back. Young Golden Fist was not the sharpest supervillain in the toolbox. Bancho needed a better class of people.
That was like, whoa. Does anybody have a carrot?
Sorry, I let that little slug in a jar get away, but he's not important.
Wait, who got away? I'm sorry, I was a bunny, so I got a little confused.
The mini Master Bot, the when he saw Tank show up and knock out Bancho, he split. And I mean,
We'll take care of him later.
I could have chased him down, but he's just not worth it.
I appreciate you not. I mean, being a bunny was pretty cool, but I appreciate you not leaving me in bunny form with supervillains running around because, you know.
I think we'll leave, even without his gloves, let's leave Golden Fist the way he is for a little while. Maybe we'll be able to carry him around, and he's cuter as a bunny than his regular self.
Yeah, and he's a lot less trouble.
But,
plus, I can attest, it's not that bad being a rabbit. We should just find him some veggies. He'll be all right.
What's left to deal with? Who's still out there that needs?
I think we'll take this as an opportunity to have Glitch rejoin you if they should wish to as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when Glitch appears and maybe we imagine him arriving and being able to pick up the very tail end of that conversation and the question of what is left here to deal with. And, Glitch says, what do you mean what's left to deal with? And he looks at the bunny and it says, when you see bunnies, you have to think the Maestro and the Titans, well, they certainly are capable, but the Maestro is, I think, as villains go, the Maestro is in a completely different league. And Glitch will also look at Tank and say to Tank, and Hatjack is on her way to try to steal the Maestro's wand. You know, Hackjack is capable, but I don't know. I've seen Hackjack get in over her head before, so I think we need to get over to where that action is going down and see what might be transpiring there. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the Titans have prevailed, but we'll have to see. I mean, they may be in trouble.
Sounds like maybe this time Hackjack's not going to have a choice about teaming up. Also, the bunny thing, it's no joke. I'll tell you later. But just... go ahead.
Sorry, but it's as soon as Glitch had said about the Titan.
We can't.
You lost your audio, Marco?
Sorry, I keep hitting that button. As soon as Glitch says that line about the Titans, Poppin' Jay goes, "Oh no, Emperor Norton," and he like does a quick flyover and picks Emperor Norton up out of the dust and brushes him off and helps him get back on his feet and see if he's okay.
Yeah, he's bruised and battered. He had the wind knocked out of him, and he sort of brushes himself down, and says, "I think," he said, "out of the Titans, Sentinel is busy in space. I'm in no fit state to carry on, and Servo's trying to unpick the AI interfaces around the city." Sort of looks at Bobby and the rest of you and said, "Vanguard, the city needs you. The world needs you. Are you ready to face the Maestro?"
We're the Vanguard. That's what
we
we do. Into the fray. But before we do, are any of you capable of repairing these gauntlet things? Because they seem really handy.
I think, I mean, if, you know, with that question, I mean, Glitch would certainly kind of take them up and start kind of with his, you know, technology, you know, fascination would be, and I think he's looked at the gauntlets before at some point, right? So this is not...
these are another model, but yeah, they are. But yes, you sort of know how they work. They've been upgraded and changed, but they're another set of wonderful toys.
So that's a thing for the beacon to do.
I mean, they're damaged, but they're still functional. So Bobby, you can take them and use them. I don't think we need to spend time worrying too much about fixing them.
Okay.
Right?
I wasn't sure if they were like beyond
this disposition in the fiction that they're flying.
Okay. So I'm gonna. Can I like just replace my current thing that I'm carrying? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Too bad about that improvised soda and candy bomb, but whatever. All right, Vanguard. You heard what man, the names are just killing me here today. Sorry.
Emperor Norton.
Emperor Norton, thank you. What Emperor Norton had to say. Let's go save the world. Vanguard into the fray.
hang on just a second. And
Okay.
Tank like holds up his hand. Tank's still in his full armor, and he holds up his hand, and the nanites form up out of like that cubism again. They form up a sword that looks just like the one he had out in digital space. So that he's got this massive like two-handed sword in his hand. And then he says, all right, now I'm ready.
Where is he? Where do we go?
I remind Glitch that Servo gave him a tracker for the digital city that will allow him to track down Hackjack and Emperor Norton, not Emperor Norton, and the Maestro.
Yeah, yeah. So Glitch would have, I mean, Glitch would say, yeah, I can triangulate this. Servo has given me the ability to kind of track it down.
Cool.
We've never seen these like this two-handed sword thing, right? Like this is just like suddenly you have a terrifying two-handed sword.
Glitch would have recognized it.
Yeah.
But like Papa J and I would not have, right? Because there's not a lot of time right now, but as soon as this is over, we are definitely having a talk. That thing, I'm just gonna go with it. Please do not kill any of us by accident. That thing, what is with all of you and the constantly, anyway, okay, into the fray.
So let's turn the page there, and we'll come to the scene with the Maestro, but we'll do that in about 5 minutes' time, taking us another short break. Okay, so let's pick up for the final section of this comic, and what we see is at the center of Union City there is a marble skyscraper that looks, I suppose, surprisingly like if it was a wizard's tower. It was not there only a few hours ago. Music can be heard from the top floor, and on a checkerboard floor we see the Maestro, and they are moving onto a shelf a small little marble statue. It's a marble statue that looks exactly as if it was a scaled representation of Hackjack. He puts it on a shelf next to Peregrine and Dr. W. and smiles, looking over the city, and taps their wand on the marble balustrade and says, "Now, what shall we change next?" Back to the Vanguard. Is anyone leading the scene? Does anyone want to assess or do anything before you get in there?
I should be mindful of my surroundings, for sure.
Sure. Everyone does spot that this marble tower was not there before. So when everyone goes like, "Where will we find the Maestro?" and you look out from the location you're in A-Town, you do see at the center of the city a large marble tower. When I say you can see music coming from it, you can see literal notes of music and chords sort of coming out in shapes from the top of the building. You're pretty sure that's what the Maestro is. But yes, as you close in, you can be mindful of your surroundings, Bobby.
It was an 11 and it turned into a 6, but luckily I have a 2 superior, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it an 8.
So
I can get 2 questions with the move?
That's correct.
Okay. What here can I use to fight the Maestro?
Um, the Maestro is best defeated by words and not physical action. You need to appeal to the Maestro.
Yikes. Not my specialty. Okay. What is the best way to protect us from the Maestro?
Dodge the blast coming out of his magic wand. I think is he has that seems to be the focus of his powers currently.
Okay. All right, team. I've dealt with this guy before. Briefly. I told you about it. We'll talk about it more later. I think we need someone clever, that's not me, to try to talk something into him. And whoever's the sneakiest, which might be me, should try to steal his wand. And the rest of us should dodge anything that comes out of that wand so we don't become bunny rabbits, as cute as they are.
I'm going to just repaint the scene because I think it's a stronger imagery actually. Rather than some Gale statues on a shelf, the floor of the Maestro's tower is like a chessboard with all sorts of these at-scale marble statues of various heroes and luminaries and even some of the villains in the city.
Statues, eh? Not people who have been turned into statues? Or we can't tell.
You can't tell.
Discouraging.
Would they be useful, like, for Gymkata?
Everything's useful for Gymkata. Especially if any of them were big people, because I could hide behind them. And then, like, handspring to get behind another one. To sneak up on him. But I need someone clever to keep him talking and distracted so that I can sneak up on him. And maybe someone fast, or someone like Glitch who can go in and out of existence to kind of like dodge blasts if they feel confident. I'm going to leave that up to Glitch because I don't want to put anyone in danger unnecessarily. But I think this has to be a team effort that we all work on him at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, Glitch says, I certainly am up to the task, you know, and chess happens to be my favorite game. I'm glad to see that the Maestro has similar tastes. I think that a good game of chess should be plenty to keep his mind occupied.
All right. Human chess. A little bit creepy, but that's okay. Okay, so who wants to do the talking part?
Are you sure that you don't think you can do that? Because you know how to talk smack.
That is true. I do know how to talk smack, and he tried to befriend me before. Maybe if I play along. Okay, all right, okay. All right.
I'm good at protecting people because I'm invulnerable. So I can, and my wings are good shields. So if you want me to somehow be a defender, you know, and a protector of Glitch or you or Tank.
Well, if I'm going to go in and pretend to be swayed by his arguments, no one should look like they're protecting me or it'll give it away. What I need to ask of all of you is to make sure I don't actually fall for it. He's very tempting. He gave me the only power I have, and it's been very helpful. And he's very smart, and I am not very smart. So between the three of you, someone has to get his wand. Someone has to keep his attention in addition to me probably while his wand is being gotten. And then Popinjay, maybe you can just look out for everyone. And if anybody looks like they're in trouble, you can
I mean, I can
protect.
certainly swoop in and try and snatch his wand if he gives me the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think as
I'm
it plays
fast.
out, we'll see. But like, it's
Yeah.
good to have a plan to start with.
Okay.
And then, like, if we get an advantage, by all means, take it. I trust your judgment, all of you. I trust my own judgment the least because it's really nice to finally have a superpower. And he's tricksy with the words. So stay back a little bit for now. I'm just going to walk up to him. And I'll leave it up to you what roles you want to take. But this is the basic plan. And I'm like, I could do this. I'm not going to fall for it. One power is enough. One power is enough. So I'm going to walk up to the Maestro. And I actually don't want to provoke him yet. I just want to see how he reacts to my presence.
So this is this open, almost like a Grecian temple come sort of cathedral top, open to the city as you sort of arrive. And the Maestro sort of turns and smiles. They have their signature sort of turban hat on and a smoking jacket and a cravat, and look every much like the silent movie film star that they once were. And it says, Bobby B, and I'm sure the Vanguard will be coming as well.
I mean, we do tend to stick together, but there was a reason I wanted to go first. I assume you know what's been going on. You talked about playing the game and winning. I'm sure you've been paying attention, but that thing you taught me, that's like is the coolest thing I've ever done. It's cooler than Gymkhana, which feels like blasphemy. But I've been using it all over the place, as I'm sure you know, and all of my teammates who I felt like I was finally catching up to are like now growing new powers. Like they're giant swords and like rage monster super strength, and now I only have the one power, which I thought was like the coolest power, and it still is, but you talked about maybe having some things to teach me, and I thought I would find out what they were, maybe.
Oh, I see. And he goes over to the a statue of Peregrine, which sort of had their hand outstretched like this, and there's a little bowl of olives in there. And he takes an olive and puts it into his mouth, and then goes and grabs a martini from the hand of Dr. W's statue, and says,
"It's a remarkable likeness of DW. You guys must be really good pals."
Oh, we've known each other for a very long time, and I think, Bobby, this is the time that you choose. And he sort of taps the wand on Jack's forehead, and you can see the city distort behind you. And he says, what I realized with the AI that Snakebite was building and the automaton that Dr. W had built is they were close, but they weren't quite there. Aligning this with the alien technology of the it's not the Legionnaires, it was the Legion, wasn't it? The Legion, it allowed me to just up my game. You see, the only real power that matters, Bobby, is control of reality. And here we are standing to make this world a better place. It says, this place could be anywhere, and taps the wand. Says, here we are in Union City, and it says, but this could be somewhere else. It says, maybe it could be a modern metropolis, and all of a sudden you see someone in a that's all like red and blue whoosh past at speed, or a gauntlet city, and this landscape switches again, and then it's back. But here we can make changes, and we can make this world a better place. No more billionaires, gone. Says, I have readdressed wealth in this nation and this city for all times. No one to have hunger, changed. And all I need to do is stay here at the center of things. And together, Robert, you and I could make this world a better place.
So you just fixed like income inequality and like starvation all over the planet?
I am the smartest man alive. All reality is just an illusion. You pull a string, a rabbit out of a hat, and he goes past a hat and then pulls a rabbit out of it and lets it go loose on the floor and says, this place, this reality, this is what power really is. We are the gods of all reality, and this is my greatest illusion. Now, you could work with me, or we can fight. Perhaps I could do something for you. That alien menace consuming your teammate, I could cut it away. Ensure there is a
Tank?
Ensure there is a world where Poppin J and Papillon never have to fear being hated for their love. All of that is just a trick.
This sounds pretty great.
The wand glitters with the same sort of white light that you would have that Glitch would have seen in the digital world, and says,
So
"This is what I am about. You see, making the world a better place, reimagining it so all of the things that are wrong." And they will go forever. I mean, for me, when reality really started to go wrong was when they put sound in the movies. And he taps the finger and the world goes black and white.
Okay, hold on a little bit though, because that one same sound that they use, no matter whether it's a kick or a punch or anything else in Gymkata, is pretty great. I know you said you love that movie, so you have to admit, without that just like sound that happens no matter what's happening, it would not have been as good a movie.
Huh. Fine. Then we will have sound. But, tap, he said, we will always have exquisite lighting. And he is lit, and everyone is lit in the scene as if they're a 20s movie star.
I can't complain about that. Make my dance moves look super fly. So I have a few quick questions. One, you're not mad that I like waltzed all of the Legion out of existence, are you? And also that guy who was at the head of them?
Oh, it's necessary sometimes to surround yourself with useful tools to complete the illusion.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but I hope that means you're not mad.
Helios is just someone you needed to saw in half. I completely understand.
Oh, he's whole. He's just not anywhere he can get to us. As is Severine and the whole army of the Legion.
He puts his hand into a hat and you sort of pull up and you can see the face of Helios who says, I will destroy. And then before he says you, he's pushed back down into the hat.
Well, I'm glad you're in charge of that. That was not expected. Also, I turned into a bunny a little bit ago. That's not part of the plan, right? Like, you're not going to turn all of us into bunnies because you seem to have a thing for bunnies, and it was fun for a minute, but, like, I can't do Gymkata as a bunny.
You could do anything, Robbie. Bobby. And you see, that is the crux of why Dr. W wanted you as their companion all along. He understands that what you could truly do is rewrite the entire building blocks of all reality if you ever were to master your powers. And they held you back, Bobby B. Wasn't
so, like,
I could how to dance,
like world peace and stuff? Or I guess you could, but I could help?
You could solve the world through the peaceful movement of Gymkata if you so desired. That's what I'm offering you. He sort of flicks an olive stone into Dr. W's statue. Did he offer you anything, even slightly, as useful as that?
I mean, he
Trinkets.
believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, and he gave me a suit that, like, maybe didn't help me as much as what you did, but I think he did his best, and he was really nice. I don't think I really like the world that you're talking about, like peace and like no hunger and gymkata everywhere. And I mean, it sounds pretty ideal, but DW was like the first person who ever saw something in me other than just a b-boy. It's like how I connected with the Vanguard. He can't be a statue. Like, he's my friend.
But did he, Bobby, teach you how to dance? And then musical instruments cut up, and he sort of takes a dancing pose and is sort of pirouetting across the floor and say, between us, we can choose what reality looks like. It will be obedient to the world and the lines that we draw upon it. That is what I will do.
I love this like dancing future you're talking about. I'm wondering if it's necessary for everybody to be statues. Can't they just not be statues and we still do the same thing?
Oh, it's not necessary for everyone to be statues, just those who oppose me.
But you're like stronger than them, right?
Do you oppose me, Bobby? Let's cut to the chase, shall we?
No, I think all your ideas are great. I just really care about DW, and I'm
So
sad.
I'm gonna switch the scene to that chat that's come in. Pop and Jay, what are you trying to do to free Hatjack, who is a marble statue on the floor?
I think that with my my super senses being able to feel the power around these statues,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm able to uh, match that resonance, um, because I think he gave some clues about sound and music being uh, keys in magic, and um, free Hackjack from her bindings so that she could actually steal the wand.
Okay, so roll to unleash your powers then.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
Okay, so what you see, Bobby, is you see Peregrine sneaking up towards Hackjack. You can see them extending their senses and powers, and then all of a sudden you see Poppin' Jay equally turn to stone behind, just like that, and the wings like boom, and Poppin' Jay has turned into stone, and he sort of smiles and says, "Oh, see, opposed me. Unfortunately now, Poppin' Jay," and he sort of goes over and sort of takes off their smoking jacket and hangs it on Poppin' Jay's extended hand and say, "Poppin' Jay has forgone their place in this new world, and they will spend eternity as my hat rack." Crank, glitch.
Okay, I think Glitch wants to get in on the distraction and of the Maestro, and will kind of look at Tank.
Oh. Uh-oh.